Hello, everyone. In the context of the pandemic, when there are various regulatory challenges, and the issue is largely around the need for speed when actually wanting to go public or going to market. One important entity, especially in the context of US and important markets globally, has been the format of what's called the blank check company or SPAC. And they help a lot in this, and especially during the pandemic. Actually, this has stood out as a very popular model in US. We have here Ms. Isabel and Kirtika Reddy, who are now leading the important mission in this with Athena Technology 2, and taking this forward. We have both of them here to tell us about what this is all about, why this makes a difference to companies, especially in today's environment. And they're looking at some interesting areas. They're looking at deep tech, they're looking at fintech, all the areas which are changing quite rapidly and evolving. So welcome, Isabel and Kirtika. Thank you for your time. And may I begin with Isabel, and asking in terms of if you or Kirtika can actually just tell us briefly about what is it that you do, what in very briefly what does SPAC intend to usually do, and why in today's environment this is a relevant concept.
Yes, so a SPAC, as you said, is a blank check company. So think of it as an investment fund that, instead of being private, is publicly traded. And the sole purpose of that fund is to invest in only one company and thereby taking that company public. So that is, in a nutshell, what a SPAC does. And it's a structure that has been very attractive to companies in the last couple of years, and even more so in the last 18 months. And in particular to tech companies that are fast growing companies. The big difference is it allows a company to become a publicly traded company as it would through an IPO, except that it will do that going through the SPAC, and that merger process with the SPAC will allow the company to access the public equity markets quicker than it would through an IPO. And it also offers a number of other advantages that have been attractive to tech companies lately. And in particular, the ability to present projections of where revenues are going to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now to the SPAC management team. And this is something that is not an option in the standard IPO process, because companies are, per SEC regulations, not allowed to present projections when they go public through an IPO. And so the SPAC has been a popular vehicle because it allows fast-growing tech companies, of which there was a big backlog a couple of years ago, to go public, access a large amount of capital that is easier to raise than it would be in the private market. It can take a long time in the private market, and faster than in the IPO option. So that's part of some of the reasons why it's been so popular.
Yeah, and Kumar, we are very excited to bring a very differentiated SPAC platform to the market to help accelerate the growth of a transformative company that's ready to access the public equity markets. Every industry as we know it is being transformed by these disruptive technologies: AI, data, IoT, automation, Web 3.0. I have seen it from the operating executive side, and I've also seen it more recently with SoftBank Vision Fund, where I was their investment partner, deployed about $1 billion of new investment, managed a portfolio of about $5 billion across fast evolving sectors: health tech, deep tech, enterprise, gaming, crypto. And having seen that growth, and 3 companies publicly listed, interestingly and relevant to this conversation, all 3 access the public market through a SPAC, including WeWork that I joined as part of the business turnaround. Having seen it from that side, it's truly an exciting journey to be part of Athena Technology 2 with Isabel, to bring this very differentiated platform, operating plus investing experience, unmatched execution capabilities given the team that we have put together, and a focus on long-term value creation as we enable a transformative company at the forefront of this new age economy.
Given the fact that actually this SPAC is such a popular concept, especially in, say, geographies like US and elsewhere. Um, the fact that this is an all women-led SPAC, how does that make a difference? Do you have an added advantage, some benefits that you see compared to, shall we say, a normal SPAC, and what you see as the possible challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we started doing this because there were a number of all men SPAC. In fact, when I started this about a year and a half ago, there were 300, somewhere between 300 and 400 all men SPACs. And so we decided to increase the number of women that can participate in the SPAC product and in the capital markets. But most importantly, what the result of this structure is that it has allowed us to attract outstanding talent that maybe we wouldn't have been able to attract otherwise, and that may be difficult for other SPACs to attract. Many of the women that I recruited in this SPAC and who have partnered with me were asked a dozen times before to be a part of other SPACs, and they may have said no. But this one was different because there was a sense of a shared mission and working towards a higher goal, and that combined with a full-time management team was really a recipe for success. The dedication level, the execution capabilities that we made sure we brought to the table, because we have such an imperative of succeeding, and there's no outcome other than success that we want on behalf of other women as well. So that dedication has brought superior execution capabilities, along with us partnering with some of the world's best investors over the 3 SPACs.
Kumar, if I have to share some of the specifics of the talent that we have brought together, we have, as part of our board, Judith Rodin, who was the first ever female president of an Ivy League university in the United States, University of Pennsylvania, the first female president of Rockefeller Foundation. She has been and brings intense board experience from companies like BlackRock, Citi, Aetna, American Airlines, the list goes on. Complementing her is Randy Zuckerberg, who was one of the first 10 employees of Facebook. She is an investor herself and has invested and operated across sectors, huge focus on NFTs and cryptos these days. Complementing that is Sharon Brown-Ruska, who brings deep regulatory experience. So this is the caliber of people that we have across the table. And when I talk about unmatched capabilities, this team just speaks to those unmatched capabilities.
That's a number. I will say, to your point made earlier, Kathika, about operating capabilities and operating background in addition to investment experience. We've had a number of company founders who have founded and sold companies, who have been on the boards of Oracle and Johnson & Johnson and Citigroup and many of the largest companies in the world over the 3 SPACs. And a number of operators who have run companies as CEO. And this really gives a differentiated approach when we engage with founders. We can have a conversation with a founder and understand their journey, understand the technologies that they've built, which is not necessarily the case of other SPACs. In fact, I would say many SPACs tend to be assembled by groups of people who hail from the financial industry, and there's a link missing. We're really able to establish that relationship with company founders and assist them through that journey.
Kritika, given the way how can this concept be of help to companies out of India, those who have presence globally and those who are looking for cross-border mergers, how this concept can be of use to you? I ask you also because sometimes, and perhaps that could be a subset to this, sometimes cross-border mergers in India are still not very tax efficient. So that is seen as an impediment sometimes. But tell us broadly, how does this concept help them, and where do you think a SPAC can pitch in for companies out of India having global presence?
Yeah, Kumar, it has been extraordinarily inspiring to see the spate of public listings coming out from India, whether it's Zomato, whether it's Nykaa, whether it's Policybazaar, Paytm, and more. It has been very inspiring to see that evolution and the growth. Our primary focus is the US, but we're very, very open to companies who want to list in the United States, and certainly companies that have a very strong presence in terms of their sales, their revenues in the United States should think of Athena Technology too as a vehicle. all of the advantages that Isabel mentioned, the pace, the speed to access public markets through a SPAC apply equivalently to a company in India.
That's right. And I'll add to that a foreign company may want to go public through a SPAC that is listed in the US. So we are listed on the New York Stock Exchange because they may want to expand in the American market and have a presence in the American market, but also access investors who in some cases may want exposure to these kinds of companies that give some geographic diversification.
Tell us a bit about the technologies that you've chosen this time, this area that you're looking at deep tech as. This sometimes takes time for companies to evolve, but you have a limited time span in which you need to do all of this. So why does this make sense, and the challenges that you need to actually do it in a short time period? If you can give us a sense of that. And finally, I would want both of you to share your thoughts in terms of your vision. If you were to have a conversation a year from now, what is it that you hope to achieve by then? That's all.
Well, first of all, that structure that you're referring to is the standard SPAC structure. And the reason it's structured like this is because investors who invest in the IPO of the SPAC purchase shares at $10 a share, and then they're allowed to take their money back if they don't like the deal, but they're also allowed to get their money back after that period of time elapses, so that their funds don't stay locked forever if the SPAC managers are not able to find a company. Now, we do have a time limit like all other SPACs. However, this is something it's a minor concern for us in the sense that we're actively engaged with a number of companies. I'll let Karthika speak more to our choice of sector.
On the timeline, Kumar, I will also add that with Athena Technology One, Isabel and team, they found a target company within 4 months, raised a PIPE in 4 days. As you know, this is now a family of SPACs. This is the third IPO in a year. So as Isabel mentioned, it is not in our concern list, and we pride ourselves on execution. In terms of sector focus areas, there are areas where Isabel and I both bring deep operating expertise in and have differentiated access to companies in the space and can add value to the companies in the space. And they include enterprise, health tech, deep tech, and fintech. Our ideal company is rightly valued in call it the 2 to 4 billion range, with, of course, room to flex on either side as well. We are excited to partner with a company with a very strong management team, use of next generation technologies, strong financials, and a very bold mission and vision of where they want to go, and bring the differentiators of Athena Technology to help fuel that growth.
And these are sectors that see high growth and where we see high demand from investors to participate in the investment of companies that have been growing outside of the public markets in the past. So a lot of these fast-growing tech companies have been growing in the realm of venture and private funding, and that is where the returns have been captured in the last 10 years, certainly by the venture community. And there's been increasing demand and increasing pressure in the last 5 years, demand from investors who are both public equity investors, but also retail investors who have expressed an increased interest in investing in companies that are pre-IPO. So this gives access to this kind of growth.
Kumar, you asked then about our vision a year from now. What would we want to look back on?
Also considering the fact that women tend to look at the world from a different lens and do things differently. So what different you would want to do this coming year?
So fundamentally, I think a lot about the mantra of when businesses succeed, livelihoods flourish. It's something that truly drives me. So as I look out over the year, finding that transformative company that is changing the way that we live and work, and being able to bring our key differentiators, that operating and investing experience, that unmatched execution, that focus on long-term value. Kumar, I spoke about members of the board. The members of the advisory team are equally amazing. We have members like Dolly Singh, who was formerly the head of talent at leading companies like SpaceX, Oculus, Citadel. As I talk to portfolio companies, hiring is always one of the top 3 priorities. And so as we build together our board and our advisory board, we specifically focused on what are the needs of potential target companies and how is it that we bring just an exemplary team together tailored to that. So whether it's Dolly Singh, whether it's Triad Bryant, who is doing leading work on diversity, on tackling unconscious bias in workplace, whether it's Wei Zhang, who was with a senior executive with Alibaba for over a decade and brings extensive international experience, or Andrea Tarbox, who's led one of the best performing SPACs of all times, or Minnie Ingersoll, who was the co-founder of Shift that went public via SPAC. So it's just an incredible team that we've put together to help accelerate the growth of a transformative company. So we will look back a year from now as having done that, and as businesses succeed, seeing the impact that it has on people, businesses, and society.
We have created an imperative for ourselves to succeed. We've created an imperative to succeed in our mission and to bring more women to the capital markets, to the SPAC products. And because we're all women, we have additional pressure to get it right. Otherwise, we do a disservice to other women. So that's why we have surrounded ourselves with superior execution capabilities to make sure that there is no flaw anywhere in the process and that we can succeed at any process of any company that we take through that process.
And wish you both the very best. Thank you so very much for sparing time for this. It's been incredible listening to you, understanding this newer concept, and actually I'm sure there'll be many who would be keen to actually pursue and get a deeper understanding of this. Thank you so very much again.